Hello, it is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, and if you want to see change, you do need to shift and change the energy within you. So, we are doing the career and finance reading today, as I've been trying to do that on Thursday, so that's what we are doing today. I've already pulled some cards, and the spread that we're going to use is called the Obstacles Removed spread. And it is one that I designed myself, and the one I wanted, or the thing that I wanted to focus on today with this tarot spread is the basically the fears that are kind of in our way, the fears that are blocking us. So removing not just obstacles like by itself, but fear. What fear do we need to remove? So I have already shuffled all the cards, and I have some oracles ready in front of me. So we're just going to get right into it. The top of the deck represents just the general energy surrounding you right now in regards to money, finance, career. And we have the Queen of Swords, which she's kind of a good queen to have on your side in terms of all of those things, because she's strategic and she has the ability to create plans, or to create strategies and plans that will help her to be able to do the things that she wants to do. But she also she overthinks quite a lot. She does a lot of overthinking. So there's that element there that is a little bit problematic about her. And we've got this granny who's sitting here with this shotgun energy, which is, kind of an interesting thing. She's like on guard. She's ready to take you out if you cross her. If you, she's got a big old smile though. Like she's like, go ahead and tell me what you got to say, and we'll see if I can trust you or something. So there's something about maybe not trusting yourself entirely. I'm seeing next to her there is this foot, because this is the zombie tarot. So there's this like shoe on this severed foot here next to her. And it's giving like issues with shopping or buying things. And I'm getting shooting yourself in the foot, kind of hurting yourself in terms of the way that you're doing finances a little bit. I'm also getting that there is just quite a lot of fear here, right? You're sitting here with this, like I'm thinking about when I was on like pins and needles, wondering if they were going to come and take my car, which, by the way, if you'd like to make a donation, I have to pay tonight. So I always need that extra love on the night that my car payment is due. But yeah, so there might be fear too about what is to come, or a lot of that. Okay, but that's overall energy. It's not the best. It's not the best. It's got some good parts because, there's the whole like, well, I can come up with a plan thing, but it's giving, I'm afraid, and so I'm thinking a lot. It's 7:22 as I'm saying this. I'm afraid, and I'm thinking a lot about this. I'm scared about what's going to happen with my career, my money, my finances, or maybe even my relationships too. And it's all kind of blending together here. And I'm just kind of staying cozy, like, and safe, and in my little, like, maybe I'm not spending money. I don't know. I'm not loving this overall general energy. Please help is generally what I'm feeling. Okay. Let's help. So, the bottom of the deck represents the actual block or the actual obstacle that what we're actually afraid of. What are we actually afraid of? Wow, that's terrifying. We're actually afraid of death, okay? And it's the death in reverse. And, we are often in our culture, society, we think that death is the most frightening thing. But actually, no, this is much scarier. What's scarier about this is that something will never die, that it will never end, that this constant fear that you live in, the constant anxiety about money and finances and career and not knowing if you're going the right way or doing the right thing, or that it's never going to be over, that it's never going to die, that it's this undead, terrifying thing that's going to haunt you, and you're just going to be sitting here waiting for it, always on the defense, always waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? This shoe here, the next shoe to drop, always afraid of that. You're like, oh my God, I'm just so afraid. I'm so afraid. that it's never going to be over. I'm going to have to worry about my car payment every single month. I got them to extend the loan, and I have to pay just one payment today. That's all I got to pay. And I still need help, right? And it's just like, it's never going to end. That's the fear. All right, let's get rid of this fear for you. And if you can't stay for the whole reading and you're like, I want to get rid of the fear, but I'm not going to be able to see the whole reading, I'm recording it. And hopefully, assuming everything goes well, I will be uploading it to YouTube for you today so that you can watch it later tonight or tomorrow if you are not able to stay. And I will also be offering some free consultations at the end. So stay tuned for that. Okay. So the first placement is, where did this fear come from? Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps. I can't even say the word helps. Sometimes it helps to know where something comes from, to know where fear comes from. As soon as you shine a light on it, you're like, oh, okay, that's where this is coming from. It's not real. It's just an illusion. But let's check. Where's it coming from? Okay. The Six of Swords. Well, I just immediately thought of the goddess Sedna because this image is very striking. So if you don't know the story of the goddess Sedna, I will tell you. She has such a hard time, man. She's the daughter of this man, and he's a fisherman, and there is this beautiful man who comes and sees her and wants to be with her, tells her that she's amazing. She wants to go and be with him. And her father, who has a grudge against her for some reason, is just like degrading her, cutting her down, and being like, no, you can't go with this person, whatever. So this beautiful man, this vulture, whatever, takes her away. I think I'm butchering this story. You know what? I'm going to read it to you. Because it's getting mixed up. Wait, didn't I do this last time? And it wasn't. Yes, I did this last time. It's not there. I forgot. I put it here. It's on a card that I have. And then I looked it up once. But basically, it's a story of betrayal. Here we go. Sedna, the one down there, was once a beautiful Inuit woman who lived with her father. None of the local suitors appealed to her, and she refused to marry until a fulmar, a type of bird from across the sea, promised to take her to his home of luxury. Okay, so in the other story, her dad is also a real dick to her. They just don't write this on this card. When she found she'd been deceived and was ill-treated, she begged her father to take her home. Okay, so they're leaving so much out. So the fulmar takes her to this place, and he's basically like a vulture. So he eats raw, dead meat, and she can't eat that. And so she's getting sick, and she's dying. And she's like, oh, God, I'm going to die in this horrible place. And her in-laws, the fulmar, other fulmar birds, they're like, they're not digging this, like, human woman. They're like, what is going on? So it's just a shit show, okay? So then she begs her father to come take her home. And her father's kind of like, he's not great. So as the two were crossing the water, a flock of fulmars caused a huge storm to arise. To save his own life, Sedna's father threw her into the ocean. Rude. As she clung to the boat, bitch, he chopped off her fingers, which turned into whales, seals, and all the mammals of the sea. Sedna descended to Adlavum, the Eskimo or the Inuit underworld, where she now rules the dead. To ensure that she will continue to send food to hunters, shamans descend to visit her, comb her hair, and massage her mutilated hands. Sedna is a reminder of the nourishing gifts that are to be found deep in the dark, cold places that we most fear. Okay. So, my rendition of Sedna. I'm going to write my own version of it because I read much more detail into it than comes on that card, and there's so much more, and it just needs to be, I'm going to write my own version. I'm just saying that. Okay? So why am I even saying this story? Because we're looking at where this fear that this is never going to be over is coming from. And I'm seeing it's going back to your ancestors, right? Like this betrayal. It's literally like ingrained in you somewhere. Probably groomed into you by the people, the guardians who raised you. But basically this idea that there would always be a struggle, that it's a dog eat dog world, that people are just going to hurt you. When you ask for help, they're just going to save themselves. There's just a lot of darkness, I think, coming in from your past, from your childhood. And there's also this fear of like, no one's going to save me. No one's going to help me. No one, if even the people that are offering help, there's just something, they have ulterior motives. Or they're going to bail on me as soon as they see how difficult this really is. Yeah, you're just, and I think some of you, probably earlier, you're at an earlier stage in your spiritual awakening or journey. So you're very new. You're still wanting someone else to save you. You still want a relationship, a partnership, a miracle. You want something to happen without kind of doing something. There's a little bit of that going on. Okay. So the next question is, how is it currently manifesting in the 3D? So how is this fear currently manifesting in my career and finances in the 3D? So I'm seeing legal problems for some people with the justice system here. So actually having legal issues, debt collections, problems with repossessions, things like that actually happening. And then for others, we're getting oh, that's interesting. Okay. So we know that the fear that it's never going to end is an illusion. So for some right now, what's actually going to manifest is the opposite. Like to take your fears away, like the scales are going to be balanced in your favor. And the only way that's going to happen is if you've kind of worked through some of these fears. So if you were at that early stage in your journey where you're still expecting someone to save you, probably not so much. But if you're at a later stage in your journey where you've recognized there's no one coming to save me, unless I ask for help, right? No one knows I need help until I ask for it. So there's those of you who have learned that lesson, and that there are legal things in place that will protect you or save you or whatever. So there are some things that you're starting to become more mindful of to get yourself out of that fear-based mentality. But the way that it is manifesting is it's actually affecting you in terms of like the contracts you've signed, and in terms of things feeling fair or unfair. You're experiencing like unfair, because it is unfair. It's unfair that you have this mindset that's coming from ages ago, centuries ago, that's literally built into your DNA, and it's just been repeated so many times that it just seems like a normal thing to you, and it's so unfair that if you just had a different perspective, that wouldn't be true. So there's a little bit of that going on. That's just sort of unfair how you're experiencing career and finance, because you didn't get what you needed to be able to have a better experience. But that's why I'm here. Okay, so now what will help me remove this? So what will help me remove this block? We have the World card, which is a card of completion. And in this card, this whole world is burning. And on the moon, there is this hollow moon thing going on. And the masculine and feminine energy are united there, which I think is so interesting. So what I'm seeing is that your dreams actually hold some kind of a healing energy for you. Going into your dreams and fantasies and envisioning what you really want your world to look like is actually helping you. Now, if you're thinking about it and feeling bad, sad, mad because it's not there, you've got to work through the bad, sad, mad feelings to get to the place where thinking about it makes you feel glad, amazing, freaking incredibly magnetic, right? So every time you kind of go in and start to dream your dreams, and then you start to see those little thoughts come up like, well, you can't do that, or how you're going to do that, or this isn't going to happen, or I'm sad because it's not happening, or I'm mad because this is so difficult and it should be easier, or, or I'm afraid because AI is going to take over, like whatever it is, just release the tendency to focus on your fears, and instead you need to be focusing on your dreams. Also, all things come to an end. all things come to an end. You will not always be struggling or suffering in this way. It's just the way of the world. So it's not going to be endless. It's not going to be something that's going to plague you forever. And just really repeating that again and again to yourself is very important. Who or what should I release to move on? Okay, we have this Two of Swords in reverse. So this is giving me, you have a tendency to be afraid to make any choices at all because of all of the things that are, like, I never know what to, it's like, okay, I have this much money and it's not enough for this payment, and this payment. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I pay? How do I don't know. I guess I'll just sit here and wait and see if I get a little bit more. I don't know what to do. It's no longer doing that. It's making decisions. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to pay $400 to this payment and I'll pay $400 to that payment. And even though it's not the whole thing, like that's all that's going to be there, but I'm going to do that because when you're acting like, when you're not making any decisions, you're just kind of waiting for something. You're like waiting for something to save you. You're waiting for some windfall or some, I don't know, some magical thing to happen without kind of doing any of the ritual that you would need to do to create a magical thing, right? People are like, I just have to think about it this way and then it'll turn out. It's like, no, you really need to get in front of the mirror and start doing affirmations while music is playing and you're just getting super like pumped up and excited about like how much money is coming in and how good you feel and how awesome like life is and how like that's manifesting. Manifesting isn't like, oh God, things are bad, but like I know it's gonna get better. Like, no, you gotta do something. You gotta move. You can't just stand there. You can't just do nothing. You can't avoid making any kind of decision because you don't know exactly how to save yourself. You don't have to know how to save yourself. You need to first admit that you need help. Admit that you need saving, right? Admit that you need help. Ask the divine first and ask them to bring you people that can help you, and then pay attention. And then make sure that when people come into your world, you're telling them, hey, I need help. Like, for the people that are watching this reading on YouTube or TikTok, hey, I need help. I need another $350 tonight. So anything you can send would be helpful. And also, you need to, like, stop going back and forth in your mind, like, should I get a job? Should I not get a job? Should I get a job? Guess what? Not making up your mind is keeping you in this place where you can't do what you want to do. So if you decide to go get a regular job, do it. Go get one right now. If you decide you're going to put all your heart and soul into your music career, do it right now. Don't be on the fence about it. Don't wake up tomorrow and go, well, should I get a job? No. When you wake up tomorrow, if your mind goes back into like, well, I'm afraid because I don't know if this money thing is going to end and I should get a job, you're going to go, no, I already decided. I'm focusing on my music. I don't care how scared I am. I don't care how poor I am. I don't care if my mom is judging me. I don't care if they come and take my car. I don't care. You just make up your mind. Just decide. Because there is nothing magnetic or attractive about like, yeah, I want to do music, but I'm going to do, well, maybe I should get a car. I don't know. Get help with my car. I don't know if I should do that. So, no, that's not going to work. You're not going to generate anything in that energy. So let that go. And if there is somebody that you've been waiting for to make a decision so that you can move forward in a career, let them go. Nobody leaves you on red, honey. Okay? Nobody leaves you on red. Nobody's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't make up my mind. I don't know what I want. Okay? You do. You do know what you want. Clearly, you don't want me. Because if you did want me, you would be making the effort. And you're not. So it's clear that you don't want this. Right? That's clear. If you did, you would do it. And it's not, well, if I really wanted to, it's not even that. It's just like, there are things in the way for you to do that right now, right? Right? You're not willing to remove those obstacles or do the things you need to do to get rid of those obstacles, right? Okay. So then you can't be with me right now, right? Right. Okay. So I love you. You love me. Go do you. I will unconditionally be loving you from afar. because you're keeping me from choosing a career path, making decisions about finances, by keeping me here in this holding pattern of like, well, maybe we'll be together, maybe we won't be together. No, no. I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to be together. We're not going to be together. Not now. And if you decide that you're going to man up, woman up, person up, and do whatever it is you need to do to become who you need to be so that you feel confident about your choices, you go do that. And then when you do that and you come back and you tell me like, hey, I know what I want, it's you, and I'm free, and I'm like, cool, I still want you, we'll be together. And if I don't, I'll let you down gently because I'm nice. I'm a nice person to the people that I love. Okay. The next position. What can I learn from this current pause? Here's the Emperor. Here's the Emperor, terrified, boarded up, blocking out every ounce of potential help or assistance that could come his way, doing anything he possibly can to prevent himself from feeling any of his feelings about this. Okay. One thing is, you cannot focus mentally on what is unfair in the system, okay? I have been through many periods in my life where I have done this about finances and career, and you know what it's gotten me? Nothing. Nothing. You know what? Let's just clear this up. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that you do this and this and this and that person does this and this and they get that and you get that. It's not fair. Energetically, it's not fair. It isn't. It's not. I'm not even going to be like, well, you should do more and then it would be fair. No, it's not even about that. It isn't. It's actually just not fair. What you do with the feeling of the discrepancy between where you are and where you want to be is what makes life fair. You make life fair. You're like, this isn't fair, so I'm going to do what I need to do to make this fair. I'm going to look at things the way that are going to shift or change the balance. I'm going to speak in a way that's going to shift or change the balance. I'm going to act in a way that's going to shift and change the balance. I'm going to use the anger as motivation so that instead of trying to suppress my feelings of anger and or let them build up until they explode and I just have a big hissy baby fit on the internet and it doesn't even get any views anyway, or I'm going to use this to actually have a solid foundation under my feet. And I'm going to use the legal system to make it fair. So I'm going to find ways of making it fair. For instance, if you've been taken advantage of and somebody has granted you a predatory lending situation, get a lawyer. Go to court. Make it fair, right? So there's some people who might have needed just a little bit of a boost to say, like, if things are not fair, then you need to go make them fair. And believe that you are worthy of being able to have justice act in your favor. The other thing is, you cannot be so stubborn. You can't be so stubborn. There's a part of you that is clinging so much to the way that you thought things were going to be or the way that you think things should work out, and that really hurts you. That betrays you a lot because you're like, well, it's not like that and it should be, and you're just not moving anywhere. You're just clinging to that old belief. The final position in the spread is, what can I look forward to once I remove this fear? So once you stop fearing that it's never going to end, look, you get your car. Your car's fine. It's not repossessed. You get to climb in it, drive all over the country. You can even afford to register it. I would need another $1,500 to register my car right now. That's where I'm at. So if, outside of the $300 that I would need tonight, another $1,500 for that. And it's going to come. Because as long as I can stop focusing on how the whole world is burned and ruined and everything is difficult and hard to rebuild, and focus on my dreams, the dreams and fantasies I have, and really live in a place where I can feel the feelings of those things, and start to take what hasn't been fair about my situation and turn it around to my advantage. And also surrender control, because a lot of this control is the justice thing where it's not fair. Some of it is out of my hands, and I'm not going to be able to do this alone. I am going to need to ask for help. need to ask for assistance. Thanks so much, Crystal, for liking the live. I appreciate that. So I do think that once you finally just start to focus on your dreams, your fantasies, more than you are on how the whole world is unfair and all the things are burning and there's not money and everybody's stealing money and taking money and inflation and shrinkflation and all those things, and just surrender that for you, doesn't matter what the rest of the world is going through. You are a unique case. You are an exception to the rule. You are protected divinely. You have a spirit team that's leading you in the right direction where you need to go. For you, it's taken care of. In every time of distress, in every time of suffering, there are people who are protected during that time. There are people who are able to survive and thrive even during the worst of times, and you are an exception to that. That is how you have to think. All right, so your final 3 oracle cards for this reading, we get the High Priestess energy, which is trust and believe. Again, we keep getting this having to trust in ourselves and having to trust in the divine, and the Moon energy coming out again, trusting in your dreams and in your visions. And Bat Spirit also is here. So can you imagine being a bat hanging there in the night air, taking it all in without feeling a need to impulsively act on every breeze that brushes by your head? Using all your senses to their fullest, your long, slick wings wrapping around your body as if to make a peaceful cocoon that camouflages you in the trees. There was no other creature I could think of that represents the energy of the High Priestess more than the bat, as it is, after all, considered the guardian of the night. The High Priestess travels through the darkness across the veil in silence as she uses her intuition to hone in on the information that will best support you at this time. In return, you must meet her energy using the same frequency for there to be a connection and for her wisdom to be received. This is not a time for impulsive action or telling the world your plans. You will benefit at this time by staying quiet, tuning into your surroundings, and connecting with your intuition. Although it is in our isolation, in that space where we find quiet, the answers we seek become known, the bat energy is also one of community and serves as a reminder that although there may be times that require solitude or secrecy, we all benefit from being part of something greater than ourselves. The bat is magical, intuitive, quiet, esoteric, success, and prosperity. Those are all important messages, symbols, and signs for you in regards to money and finances this week. You're also getting the Keeper of Love, which is an interesting card to get for a finances reading. It's number 10. It's one of the more significant cards because the first 10 cards are almost like court cards to me. They're the keeper cards. The Keeper of Love knows that you deserve the love you keep trying to give everyone else. All relationships are an extension of the one we nourish, or not, between our soul and our physicality. Do you need tending right now? Are there issues in your love relationships, which came up in this reading about finances, so this is probably significant for those that resonated with those messages. Do you currently feel nurtured, valued, and protected in your family of choice? Evaluating your love needs from the root of the issue, the love between you and you, is the key to unlocking what's before you. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. What do you need right now? Admit it to your very own self, and look for ways you can show up to your own needs with love, nurture, and inclusion. Become an embodiment of the Keeper of Love and lavish your life with tenderness. You deserve nothing less. So embracing that having a healthy relationship with money is something that you deserve. And being able to use money and create the life that you want is something that you deserve. And you're teaching the universe, you know how you say you're teaching somebody how to treat you? Like when you accept very little, you're teaching somebody that you will accept very little. Some part of you has done that with the universe. Some part of you with your higher self has said, I know that there's so much more available to me, but I accept that this is all that I can have. There's some part of you that's accepting of that on some level. And that's really why there's a fear that it won't end, because you have accepted that you have maybe that you're not good with finances, or that you're not able to attract it, or that you're too broken, or that you're too damaged or something. So you've taught yourself how to treat yourself in regards to money. I'm not good with it. I don't get it. It doesn't come to me. I can't generate it. And you need to be deserving in this way in terms of finances as you would need to be to receive love. So I don't know, I can't talk today. What I intended for this position and this card is that your self-care activity for this week in regards to finance would be, every time you do this, you actually help release this fear. And the self-care activity is actually to read. And the way that I want you to look at this is, when you read anything, it doesn't have to be about finances or career, but when you read anything, just the joy of reading a book, you are releasing your fear that this time of financial struggle is never going to end. And you are starting to feed into your dreams and fantasies, because you're going to have a time in your life where you'll be able to read a book in a relaxed way and enjoy reading. For those of you that do enjoy reading. Some people do not. You can do audiobooks. That counts for me. But it's just listening or absorbing information, especially when it's about something that makes you feel good. Now, it also can indicate that there are some things that you might read about finances or career that may also be really helpful to you at this time, and I feel that they will come to you. You'll find these things. Somebody will suggest a book to you, or like it'll come up in your feed, something that's going to be helpful. Your mantra is, I enjoy expanding my mind. Whether the book is a fantasy novel or a work of nonfiction, reading opens us to new perspectives and expands our minds. Get your hands on a book that gets you excited, borrow one from a friend, visit your local library and ask the librarian for top picks, or go to a bookstore and browse the recommended titles and tables. Turn the experience of discovering what's just right for you into an adventure. Make sure you set aside some time to read a few pages each day. This self-care practice can be perfect for beginning your day or winding down in the evening. Consider how reaching for a book instead of your phone could support you in finding more balance. Your journal prompt is, what was your favorite book to read as a kid? And how does it make you feel to think about reading it now? So do that journal prompt. I know that question has nothing to do with career, finances, or money, and that's fine. I want you to do that journal prompt. I want you to think about what your favorite book was when you were a kid. And if you didn't have a childhood where you read books, maybe try a book. Try one now and try to find a favorite book now. An audiobook if you are really afraid of actually reading. Some people really do have fear about reading or anxiety about reading. And you don't have to listen to the whole thing, and you could listen to it for 15 minutes. But something about inspiring you to dream and to imagine things being better, and also identifying with main characters who overcome struggles. The struggles and always end. Things always change. Things always transform. All those lessons. And then if you're really wanting to shift and change, reading about financial health and well-being, not just books about like how to save for retirement, but actually like being financially conscious in some way, or conscious of your career, or just something like that. As you're doing that, it's going to help you release this fear. And I have basically put an intention into the action or behavior, so that even if you're not thinking about it, it's working on your behalf. Alrighty. I'm going to close up this reading now. I will continue to do some free consultations now on TikTok, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for being here with me on YouTube. I will see you tomorrow for the thinking, feeling, saying, doing reading. Love reading for divine masculine and feminine that I do on Fridays. I have been doing the Tell Me Everything on either Wednesdays or Saturdays now, and my mom had to have a procedure done, a heart catheterization and scans, and done everything yesterday to prepare for she has severe atrial stenosis, so she has to have a valve replacement, and so we're going through that. My schedule might be a little bit wonky, but that is what's been going on with that. And so I didn't get to do the Tell Me Everything yesterday, but I will be doing it on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, will be the week ahead reading. Sunday or Monday. I kind of give myself a little flexibility there in case I can't do it on Sundays. But I will see you there, YouTube. Thanks so much for being here. Love you. Please go support me.